Coming up on this program, we show you how to get connected. Find out how to choose an internet service provider. Discover the newest form of communication, electronic mail.
Ways down and ready to ride. One by one, billion by billion, and holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing, if you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Time for
Hello. Why is the camera angle off, Night Wolf? Answer me that. Why is my hair fucky? I don't know the answers to these questions. I hope everybody's doing well today. I've actually had a very good day so far. My hair is still wet. I had a shower. It smells so good. I hope everybody's well. It is Thursday, right? It's Thursday. It's Thursday. Hi, Courtney. Anyways, we actually have to get going on this case because it's too long. But we missed yesterday, so we got to make up for it somehow. Or I do, anyways. And the way that we do that is watching more court. That's right. I do have a little story to tell you guys. I met some people from Michigan, and they were a lovely group of people. There was 3 of them, but I tried to explain to them about my love for Michigan court, but I think they got scared of me. They did not understand, and no, they did not try to tariff me. They actually apologized about that, but I just laughed because I don't, you know how I am. Why am I fucking makeup so bad? Anyways, you know how I am. So I'm like, oh, I love court. And they're like, huh? And I'm like, Judge Middleton, do you know Judge Middleton? No, they don't. They didn't, Paisley. They didn't. Anyways, okay, let's get going. Beverly, you are royal purple. Isn't all purple royal? Isn't that sort of the way that it is? I thought that all the purple was royal. So like I said, this is a bit of a long one, but it's in the title what's going on here. We have a mom who wants dad to have supervised visits, and then we have dad. I'm gonna have to tie my hair back because it is bugging. Oh no, it is bugging me. And then we have a dad who wants mom to have, or wants to have full custody. So wow, that's a lot to unpack. Oh my god. My hair is officially too long. I am approximately 1 minute away from cutting it all off, just so you guys are aware. When it's up on my head and it touches my butt, it bothers me. I'll just say that. We have to cut the speed on this one because I had to record it at 2x. What would it take for me to shave my head, William? Quite a bit, I think, because I don't think I have a pretty head. I don't know, though. I have a pretty-ish face, but I don't have a pretty head. I think this is the start. Let's start at the very beginning.
And then they're pretty full orders. Before the court today are just.
But get the fucking speed right, Pace. If you don't, they will talk at 2x speed. What we need is them to be at 0.5. Okay, there we go.
The issues of visitation, and dad is requesting to be the custodial parent in this case.
What do you mean? It's whatever custody I gave was probably primary to the mom last time, and so he's asking for custody at this time?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, this is right, and that's my obligation to hear it, this case, if it's contested. However, I'll need a few more details. Maybe if I get them from you real quick right now, I can have them all ready before we start, Ms. Teague, including how many children and ages of the children.
Yes, there is one kid before the court today. Mr. Palacios does have a child that lives with him. The child before the court today, I believe, is 3 years old. I'm not sure how old the other child is.
Okay, but the subject child is 3 years old. There's only one child between these folks.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, then the other thing I want to make you aware of is since I'm recording this, you both can't, or all of us can't be talking at the same time, but particularly when you're testifying, the other person, I'm gonna ask you not to testify, not to interrupt, not to try to give your information right at that point. You'll get your time to do that in an orderly manner, and I don't want you interrupting anybody, so when it's your turn, you'll get the same courtesy. The only interruption can be a valid legal objection of some kind. So if it's not that, right, take notes. You can't just respond right away whenever you want. It's gonna, you get your turn. And then the other part of it is we have, if I'm aware, two witnesses, one each in the waiting room. Do we know that they are not logging into YouTube to watch these proceedings and or that they're in another room in the house or next or in the same room with the parties so that they're hearing everything? Because I usually put witnesses under the rule and leave them out and give them certain admonitions. And do I need to do that, Ms. Teague, or are we just trusting?
I don't believe so. I don't think the witnesses are with the parties today.
Okay,
You
Mr.
can-
Palacios, is your witness in the room or the house with you or where we are?
No, ma'am.
Do you have any idea that they know how to log into YouTube to watch your case and would be doing that?
No, ma'am, I don't believe so.
No. Ms. Brandon, same questions for you. Is your witness in the location you're at right now?
No, ma'am.
They're in a whole different place?
Yes, ma'am.
And then y'all haven't discussed or you have no idea if they would know how to log into YouTube to watch your case right now?
No.
But you definitely want to call your witness, Mr. Palacios?
Yes, ma'am.
And you definitely want to call your witness, Ms. Brandon?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I usually take precautions because if they're sitting and we don't know, and then it turns out they heard the whole thing, they really shouldn't be testifying because they're gonna conform their testimony to whatever they've heard, and that's not fair or that's not right. So if I'm aware of the witnesses, let's bring them in right now and I can put them under oath and put them back in the wait room and tell them not to observe proceedings or talk to anybody, all that good stuff. So I'm gonna bring in Crystal
We did
Rios.
this. I did not watch this part.
Estela Pala.
Okay, well, spoiler alert, they don't testify. But this is Kayla's mom over on the top right, and then this is Angel's stepmom, okay? But we don't really give a fuck because they're about to leave, and we're about to get down to it.
Okay.
So it's not going.
You hear that? Something's being picked up on the microphone, but I'm home alone. Scary.
Well, my big concern is that somebody's not there listening or passing on what's going on in here, whatever that is. But I guess that's not happening. But it's just distracting for me to hear my own voice while I'm talking and 3 seconds later, a second late. So I hope we can stop that next time, or maybe we can't. But okay, I'm just trying to tell you there's some glitches here, but we're going to go forward anyway. Ms. Teague, and now again with each of you, don't talk while the other one's talking, and State gets to call witnesses in the order they want. So Ms. Teague, your first witness.
Yes, I'm gonna call Miss Brandon.
Okay.
All right, Miss Brandon, can you state your full name for the record?
Kayla Nicole Brandon.
Okay. And other than the visitation provisions from the temporary order, are you in agreement with everything else? All the other issues?
Yes.
Okay. How old is your child in this case?
He is 3 years old. He's going to be 4 in October.
October, okay. And where does your child currently live?
With me.
Okay. And who
Oh, NPC, you're so sweet. Thank you. I love this dress. I'm wearing it right now, like you can't see when I just stood up there. And I appreciate the super chat. That's so sweet. Oh my god. Seriously, I just yanked my head back. Thanks again, NPC. Also, did you watch her face when she says where the kid lives? With me.
are you in agreement with everything else? All the other issues?
Yes.
How old is your child in this case?
He is 3 years old. He's going to be 4 in October.
October, okay. And where does your child currently live?
With me.
Okay. And who makes the important decisions for the child?
Me.
Okay, so do you take the child to the doctor?
Yes.
Okay, you decide who his doctor is?
Yes.
Okay. Have you enrolled your child in school?
Yes, I actually went to go do that recently.
Okay. When is your child supposed to start school?
Come August.
Okay. And you made the decision on where your child was going to go to school?
Yes, we decided together actually.
Who's we?
Me and Dad.
Okay. So dad's been involved in making some important decisions for your child?
Yes, he was there.
Okay. Has he been involved in anything else?
No.
Okay. So does he know where your child goes to the doctor?
Being that I had to put it in the app and everything, yes, now he does.
Okay, does he take your child to the doctor?
No.
Okay. Is he involved in any other decision making?
No.
No. And how would you say the relationship between your child and dad is?
AJ, he knows Dad, of course. He knows Dad is Dad. But it's a little rocky because Dad has been away, has been gone for some time. So he's trying to get used to Dad all over again. AJ has been diagnosed autistic. So trying to get him back into routine and getting him used to being around Dad all over again has been a little bit of struggle, but we're working through it and it'll get better in time. We're just trying to really get through this.
Okay. So the prior temporary order in February had supervised visitations set. Were those supervised visitations because your child is autistic and to get used to dad?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how have those supervised visitations been going?
They have been good. They has missed a few due to the person supervising couldn't make it, or she had to leave early, different things like that. But at home, when AJ comes back from home, the temper tantrums have gotten a little um, bad, but it's nothing that therapy and I can't calm him down in time, due time.
Okay. How many visitations would you say dad has done since February?
Um, I don't know how many weekends there has been. I think he's missed like 3. There was one full weekend he missed a weekend, and due to family, the supervisor couldn't be there. There was another one where again the person supervising wanted to leave early, so we left her. So to cut supervise the visit early.
Okay, so he's been exercising most of his supervised visits.
Yes.
Tell me real quick what that, what it is in the temporary order. I heard it was supervision, but I couldn't tell if it was the full weekend or some other time period.
I believe it's day visits on Saturday and Sunday from noon to 6, the first, third, and fifth weekend.
Yes.
First, third, and fifth Saturdays, and the following Sunday.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Okay. So, so he's been exercising his visitations. How have those day visits been going? Has your son been has he gotten used to the schedule of seeing dad?
Sort of, kind of. It's getting better. It's getting better. He kind of knows whenever it's time to go. Whenever we show up at the park, he knows what time it is. He knows he's gonna see Dad, so he's getting used to it. Before he was freaking out and not just ready to get out. So then now he's ready to get out and he's ready to see. He's getting better. It's just whenever he comes home is why I'm asking for supervised visitations until August. Just I feel like outside looking in, watching him, he just needs a little bit more time.
And that's because he throws temper tantrums, you
Yeah.
said, after the visitations?
Yes.
Okay. And the temporary order, also states that after 26 supervised visits, that the standard possession be exercised. Do you remember what the standard possession order is, Miss Brandon?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so that would be the first, third, and fifth weekend, every Thursday, alternating holidays and extended time in the summer. Okay, that's what it said in your temporary order. Are you okay with all that time for
Can you
visitation?
repeat that again?
Of course. Are you okay with Dad having all the time under the standard visitation with
Yeah.
your child?
Yes.
Okay. So even the extended time in the summer of 30 days?
Yes. I just asked if we can separate the days, 15 days where he is gone and AJ come back home, being that he is autistic, to give him a little break to come back home, back to mom, um, and then go back for the additional 15 days. Still have the 30 days, but break them up.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to tell the court today when making its decision?
I every decision that I make and I try to make, I think about AJ's health, and that's the only thing I'm thinking about, not about how I feel or my feelings. It's all about AJ.
Okay. Anything else you'd like the court to know?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Nothing further, Judge.
Before we move on real quick, just briefly tell me what your living situation is, who else lives with you, how old they are, who they are, and maybe if you work and what that's like, or what kind of daycare you have right now before school starts. That's a lot. Just give me a little bit of background.
I am a stay-at-home mom. I do stay at home. I babysit my niece whenever my sister needs me to. So I also babysit. Not it's often. Some days where I don't have her majority of the time, but I do have her a lot, and I'm just here with AJ all the time.
How old is your niece?
She is 2.
But any other adults in your house?
No, ma'am. It's just me and AJ.
So you said you stay at home. It makes me think, you don't have a job with income to pay bills, or how you do? Tell me how
No,
that
ma'am.
works.
I don't have a job currently. My mom is helping me with my bills until I'm waiting till AJ is in school, being he's gonna start in August. I am planning on getting a job whenever he is in school.
Okay. But again, it's just you and AJ there in the house?
Yes, ma'am.
And is it a house or an apartment? Is it rented?
Apartment.
Apartment? And does your niece ever stay overnight? You just have her a few hours in the daytime, which is
No, I just have her during the day.
okay. Um, when you say school, well, at age 3 or 4, I'm trying to figure out what school you're talking about, or is it early development kind of program, or what is it?
Yes, Head Start.
Head Start. Has your child been diagnosed with autism, and is he getting any kind of
Yes,
programming right now?
he has been diagnosed with autism. We are starting therapy already. We've started occupational therapy. We are waiting to hear back from insurance and things like that to start ABA therapy, as well as speech therapy whenever school starts, and also waiting on insurance
What's
to do speech therapy without school.
okay? What's ABA therapy or whatever? I'm not sure I heard you right.
ABA therapy is
Okay.
to help regulate and to help him understand his emotions and to help us understand his emotions.
Okay. But you're right now there, that's not happening. It's gonna start pretty soon.
Yes, I'm just waiting on the phone call.
How long ago did he get diagnosed?
He got diagnosed back in October.
And there's been no other programs that they've recommended or you've had him in before now
No,
that
no.
no. And Head Start, is it full time or is it a part-time, daytime?
It's
You don't know.
she said 7 to 2:30, so I think that's a full day.
That's considered full for that age group, probably. Okay.
Mhm.
And then what else was I thinking? Do you have any idea why Mr. Palacios says the child should now be living with him?
No, ma'am.
Y'all haven't talked about it?
No.
Okay. Was it a surprise to you when today or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any follow-up, Ms. Teague?
No, Judge.
Okay, then let's move on to Mr. Palacios, and after that, before I bring in the witnesses, you each have the right of examining each other or any other witnesses because you're acting as your own lawyers. It's just the right of cross-examination. I'm going to wait till I hear your story, sir, before I start asking you to ask each other questions if you have any. So Ms. Teague, you're gonna call Mr. Palacios.
Yes, I'm gonna call Mr. Palacios. Can you please state your full name for the record? Oh, I think you're muted.
My name's Angel J. Palacios.
Okay. And do you have another child outside of this case?
Yes, ma'am.
How old is she?
She's 6 months.
Are you requesting to be the custodial parent today?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're aware that that means that the child will primarily live with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, why are you requesting this?
Only due to because he does have he's diagnosed with autism. I think right now that I have like a good advantage of being able to help him a lot more due to because I'm living in Austin. Luling doesn't really have like the how do you say like the medical team and like the help he really needs right now. And I can currently, get him into appointments, and there are ABA therapies that will take him that he will just walk in, take in, instead of having to wait on like the insurance wise, and which I've been trying to do with Miss Brandon, trying to convince her, to hey, can I pick him up? There's a couple of places that I wanted to take him in for a walk in, and they said they would take him without insurance, that I would be able to pay out of pocket, and I did try to mentioned that a couple of times, and it just wasn't working out. I'm just because I was diagnosed, when I was 8 years old, I would find out I was fully diagnosed with autism, and out through that time, I was able to, process it and go to therapy as well. But being able to, I just want to be able to help him regarding like being transportation. I mean, if he needs to go to therapy every day, then that's what I'm here for. But I'm not being allowed that access to be able to help him.
Okay. And I know Miss Brandon testified earlier that she makes some of the major decisions for the child. Can you tell the court what other decisions that you've helped her make, or maybe how you're involved in your child's life?
Really, when it comes to appointments, I really don't get involved. She doesn't really involve me into this type of situation due to, and I don't know if it could be personal reasons. We had a neurologist, or I don't know how to say it, to pronounce the word, but his last appointment, we were on the phone call, and I was on the phone call with him and her with the doctor, and I was trying to let the doctor know that I was present on the phone call. And as I was telling Miss Brandon to let the doctor know I was present, she kept turning down the volume of her phone. She kept muting me. You could hear it when it's muted. Um, I mean, when it comes to me trying to get involved with the doctors, I have to call or text multiple times just to get a response about what happened. Or me personally, I have to call the doctor that he went to and ask for an update or what had happened, because Miss Brandon doesn't really update me the right away. She just kind of waits a couple of days until I'm like last minute to hear anything about it.
Okay. And do you think that it would be in the best interest of your child to change his living conditions,
Uh,
given that he does have diagnosed autism?
yes, ma'am. I only say that because the 2 years I missed with him, regarding when I did see him through FaceTime, he was always kept in his room. Like, he was never really outside. So when I would call 3 times a day, I would call in the morning, lunchtime, and bedtime, which was 8 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock at lunchtime, and around 8:30 to 9 o'clock, I would call him. And every time I call him and I FaceTime him and talk to him, he's only in his room, and like he's only being kept in his room. He's not being put outside. You know, every time I do call him, he's always in a bad situation. With him being in his room. I'm not sure if he's being supervised while he's playing in his room by himself, but like there's always an incident going on when I'm FaceTiming him and talking to him, and like he's always trying to climb up something, and as she's walking in the mid room, he's doing something he's not supposed to, and there's been times where he's hurt himself multiple times. I know he did a couple months prior. He was pushing his toy box in front of his TV, and I called Miss Brandon to FaceTime him, and as I was mid FaceTiming, she was walking towards him, and he was climbing up the TV, and a little bit after he had fell off and he had hit his teeth on I guess the edge of the floor, the edge of the TV, and he kind of broke his two teeth. And me personally, I would have taken him that same day, but it was that she did wait a couple days prior to take him to this appointment. It may have been a month after, but I do know it was a couple days prior that she really didn't do anything about his teeth, and they're still currently broken. But the doctors did say that their baby teeth, it can stay like that. But me personally, I just wanted to make sure that he would have gotten taken care of right away instead of just waiting.
Okay. Okay. Have you ever exercised overnight visits with your child?
Not since we were separated. Ever since we were separated, I wasn't allowed no access with him, even before the mediation started. I was only able
Okay.
to speak to him through phone. And then when I did visit to him, when I was out of the house, I would visit him every weekend. And I was only allowed access with him outside her front porch of her apartment. And I do have pictures of me just playing with him in front of her front yard because that's the only access I was allowed with him prior all time.
Okay. And just to give the court a little bit of a timeline, when you said when you guys separated, when was that?
I would say in total it would be a good 2 years now, but I can't really put a little on the date, when we were separated, but it would be coming up on 2 years.
Okay, so about 2023.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you started regular visitations in the temp order in February
Yes,
of
ma'am.
2025? Okay. And since then you said you have done some overnight visits or you have not
No,
done
ma'am.
some?
I've done not one type overnight. I tried to contact Miss Brandon and through message, seeing if she would be comfortable.
Comfortable. This is when Paisley caught up. If you're just getting here, welcome. Please hit the like button. We are watching this custody hearing. It's got quite a ways to go, but guess what? We will get a ruling tonight if you stick it out. Yeah, judge is going to decide who takes this kid. And it might seem cut and dry, but it's maybe not so much. Anyways, let me switch the speed of this while you hit the like button. That's fine. We'll both do things that we have to do. You give me a moment. I gave you a moment. This is perfect. Also, subscribe, please. Oh, 5 people left because I talked. I love that. I love that for me. I love that for me. Oh, I love it so much.
Trying it with one night, and it was always a no. I don't feel comfortable with it. He's not ready for it, but he's going on 4. Kind of figured he kind of needs the distance between both parents. He needs to spend some time with this parent and sometimes this parent. I won't really know how to take care of him if I don't get to get any overnights with him, and I haven't had any overnights with him for over 2 years.
Okay. Do you think there would be any issue with you having him, for an extended period of time, given that he might have some special needs that need to be addressed and taken care of?
No, man, I don't think it would be an issue, like I said, because me prior, I was diagnosed with autism. So, I mean, I was able to take care of myself regarding taking care of therapy, taking care of me, but I know how to be able to help him and be able to calm him down and just work with them. I mean, he's just a kid. They're all gonna take time. Everyone takes time.
Okay. And the court will make a decision on the issue of the custodial parent, but I'm going to ask you some questions about visitations going forward, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So the last temporary order set the supervised visitations. From your point of view, how have those been going?
So I would say it kind of went poorly. I didn't quite miss a few days with him. And I did try to like work with Miss Brandon regarding the days that the people that weren't able to do the visitations. I tried to work with Miss Brandon through message saying like, "Hey, would you be comfortable, trying it by myself? Would you be comfortable with my brother, my great grandma, and then my stepmom?" And each time that I try to come to an agreement with her, it always with the no, I'm sorry, I don't feel comfortable, and I'm not really understanding why each time it was no, we're just trying to do what's best for him, trying to help him out the best, but you know, was always just a no. I can't help you right now. And she always told me she wanted this black and white. Now that it's black and white, it's still not working, and um, there's really should be no reason why it still could continue with supervised visits. I've been doing everything she's asked me. I respected her, gave pretty much everything she wanted. Started since day one, but we still can't come to an agreement when it comes to him. So
Okay. How many visitations do you think that you have exercised?
I would say probably about 4 or 5. I did miss March 22nd, April 5th, March 9th, and March 23rd.
Okay. And why did you miss those
So
visits?
from March 22nd, this is from messages. Jacqueline said she's cutting visitation short due to a wedding. It tells me she will drive and stay in town. She won't do visits. April 5th, Jackie stopped responding to my message. Kayla called at 9:20 a.m. and said that Jackie will not be doing visits. March 9th, Jackie said that the day of visiting, she will not be attending. Angela also could not do the visits. Kayla would not agree with someone new. March 23rd, Jacqueline stopped responding. Angela could not do the visits either. Kayla would not agree with anyone else.
Okay, and for the court, who are Jacqueline
Jacqueline,
and
Jacqueline Palacios is my younger sister, and Angela Marie Mercer is my mother.
okay. So it looks like maybe the supervised visits, you've been missing some visits because the designated supervisors aren't available. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If supervised visits were to continue, would you be requesting a change in who's supervising?
Well, I've tried multiple times to sit with Miss Brandon regarding of changing someone. And the only person she's trying to prefer is her mom, which I'm not comfortable with, and I've told her multiple times. And she did tell me, I understand, I get it, I understand you're not comfortable with mom, but I've tried, at least 4 or 5 people, and she's not willing to agree with anyone. And the only person she's willing to agree with is her mother.
Why aren't you comfortable with her mother being the supervisor?
Oh, due to all of us just having a bad history in the past, none of us really got along. Me with her mom and her dad, there was always heads butting. There was times where I was living with them, and we couldn't come to any type of agreements. It shows that they didn't want me there. There was altercations with me and her dad, and AJ was in my arms. AJ was in my arms, and when the altercation had happened. I did say that I was going to call the cops and that I had multiple cameras in the room. As I had told them that.
High alert! High alert! Okay, first of all, I think we need to acknowledge the fact that Donna just donated 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Donna. Secondly, am I pulling off these bangs at the moment? I just feel like that I am. These are fake emergency bangs, but I believe that this is like a yes. Like, yeah. Crazy. That's crazy. I look like Snow White. Oh, that's so sweet. I feel the volume that I got from like rolling my hair and pinning it like this to make these is so crazy. I've never had volume like that in my life. Oh, I know. I feel like I've been listening to Alanis Morissette all day, and I have been. Oh my gosh, isn't it crazy? I feel like a bit of a chameleon sometimes because I feel my look can change so easily sometimes. But I'm no Kayla. I mean, Kayla's got like the really feathered. My hair is just too fucked. Seriously, the bottom needs just cut off and the top is gray. So, oh my gosh, though. Bang me, Paisley. It's sort of cute.
What was going on? I was yanked out of the room, and all my security cameras were yanked out of the wall by Crystal Rios. And then she did hide them in her bedroom drawer in the top shelf on the right side.
Okay. Were the cops called during that instant? That
No, man. They were trying everything for me, preventing to call the cops. So what I did was I called my mother, Angela Murray Mercer, and she came and was able to pick up me, AJ, and Miss Brandon at that time when we were together.
Okay. Okay. So who would you request? I mean, again, if supervised visits continue, who would you request be the person to
Uh,
supervise these visits?
I would like to request my stepmom, Estella, but only because right now she is in the school in the process of she takes care of the kids that do autism. I don't know what school she does teach for, but she teaches for like the special kid needs. So I was mainly trying to put it for her because I know she'll be able to help me out a lot more, to be able to get him to understand him.
I'm not trying to be rude, but now my hair is giving special kid need vibes, and I'm just making fun of him for saying that. I shouldn't be inappropriate. But again, why does he need to be supervised? Is my question. What makes her the expert on autism?
And to be able to work with me because she is a teacher regarding that. So she would be able to help me understand Asia a little bit better.
Okay. Now, in the prior order, there was an exchange location set at a park that's closer to Miss Brandon than it is you. Are you requesting a change in the exchange location?
Yes, ma'am. I was actually trying to request if we can meet at the HEB parking lot in Lockhart, Texas.
Okay. Is that closer to you?
Yes, man. It'll make it from hour 15, or I think a 55-minute drive to 33 or 40-minute drive.
It would, I'm sorry, repeat that.
It would so right now I currently drive an hour 15 just to get to AG. And
Okay.
if I was to move it to Lockhart where she's able to drop them off, it would cut it down to like 45 to 50 minutes. So it would make it a little bit less for me.
Okay. And are you planning on moving
Yes, ma'am.
anytime soon?
Yes, ma'am. So I am planning on moving on May 23rd. I'm just waiting for my lease to end. I currently live in Austin. I am planning on moving to San Marcos, Texas. The new address is going to be 213.
No, don't go.
Oh,
Don't
no,
go
no.
there. You
I'm
have to
sorry,
put it
I'm sorry.
in.
I'm sorry.
Okay, with the exchange location in Lockhart, would that work with your new address?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, I know that you're requesting to be the custodial parent and not have any sort of supervised visitations. I know your child is going to start school in August.
Yes.
I don't know the exact address, but I am assuming it's going to be close to Miss Brandon. Will you be able to take your child to school, given that you're going to be living a good distance away from
Yes.
from where the school is going to be?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so no problems with any sort of school pickup.
My job is also actually flexible. So if anything comes up,
Does anybody now want to guess what Texas institution see that might have given it away that he works for? Get your guesses in the chat now. We'll find out in a little bit exactly which one he works for, but get your guesses in right now, folks. Spoiler alert, it's not HEB. Is HEB Texas? But it's not. I know they've mentioned that, but it is not that.
if I need to leave early, I just gotta at least show up early, or make up a day next time. So they're willing to be flexible with me if anything comes up.
Okay. And I don't know if I've asked this, but I know you don't want supervised visitations, but what visitation are you requesting going forward today?
What I'm really trying to work for, is I'm trying to get it to where if it's possible to do 1 week on, to where 1 week on, 1 week off, where I get AJ 1 week full week, and then alternate with Miss Brandon. She gets him the next week, only until August, until he starts school, just so I can spend a little bit of time with him before he starts school, and we try to get him to focus on school a lot more. But I was
And
trying
what
to
are
make Yes, ma'am. I'm just trying to get it to where only until August to do the 1 week on, 1 week off, 1 week off, and then starting. I want to just try to start it as soon as possible.
okay, and then what are you requesting after August?
Um. So for August, I mean, if he's gonna start school, pretty much I would go back to the where I get I guess only on weekends because I know he is gonna be in school, so he would need to be with his mom and during the week, and then get him on weekends pick him up Friday from 6 p.m. and then drop him off on Sunday from 6 p.m. as well.
Okay. So you would be requesting more of the standard,
Standard
the first,
after
third,
August.
okay, the
Yes, ma'am.
first, third, and fifth weekend.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, alternating holidays.
And also alternate holiday, and then
Okay.
so yeah, and get back. I wanted to do, yeah, I would like to alternate holidays and then get back all the holidays I missed from last year because I missed all the holidays, every single holiday last year.
You're requesting some makeup time for
Yes,
missed
yes, ma'am.
holidays in 2024?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how many days are you requesting?
Uh, just each holiday pretty much. Just I don't know what days the holidays are falling on this year.
Okay. Okay, Judge, I don't think I have anything further.
Real quick, Mr. Palacios, give me a little background on who's living under your roof, wherever you are, where you
Yes,
live.
ma'am. So
How is it?
I currently live in Austin. It is just me, my girlfriend Jasmine, and my little one, my daughter. She is 6 months. Her name is Layla Palacios. And then we have two dogs, and it's one German Shepherd and a little black Chihuahua.
And your girlfriend, I assume, is the mother of the child?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it a house or is it an apartment or?
It's an apartment.
And what do you do for a living?
I currently work at Whataburger. It's a digital Whataburger. Basically, I mean, it's a normal Whataburger, but it's everything's digital. Yes, ma'am. It's a digital, so you can only order through your phone app, or you can only order at the kiosk at the building.
Okay, I think I heard about it, but I haven't been there. So,
Yes, ma'am.
How old are you?
I am 24.
What were you doing before Whataburger?
I was only working dietary aid for nursing homes.
So is this like a better
Like
deal
it's
for you because of the hours or the pay or something else or what?
When I left the dietary aid was when me and Miss Brandon were separated, and I currently didn't have anywhere to stay. I was living with a friend, but I was told that I couldn't live there no more. So I was homeless for like a day, and then I was able to talk to some of my families, and they were able to help me out for a little while, and they were able to help me get back on my feet.
And was it going to change when you moved to another town?
Everything's so yeah. So I would get just transferred over to San Marcos, or be asked just to stay this and just continue to drive for the work.
So it would be, do they have a digital one in San Marcos or is it just the
And
regular one?
it would be just a regular one.
Okay.
They would just transfer me over to a different unit.
How long have you been with that company?
A year and 3 months.
And I guess you're more stable now with home and a
Yes,
girlfriend and another child?
Yes, ma'am.
Does your child have special needs? The baby, is anything?
So right now she does have a heart problems, and that's where everything. I'm having to go every week. She having to see a cardiologist. She does have a bunch of MERMs in her heart, so right now we're having to spend a lot of time going to the heart hospitals right now.
Okay.
Judge, while you ponder on that and we feel terrible about that, I hope his baby girl gets better. I hope his son is better too. Why don't we marvel at the baking abilities that is Paisley's, that's me. It's heavy because this is a large pan. This is like a 13 by 9 pan. So this is a lot of coffee cake. It's a sour cream coffee cake recipe because I wanted to use up the sour cream in my fridge. And it's cooked perfectly. I would like to draw your attention to the bottom. Golden brown. Golden! Joy to the world. And it's called coffee cake because I will put it in the Discord. Listen, I made enough for all of us. Fuck you, Donald. The top is got topping on it, and the bottom is golden. None of it's... You know what? I'm just joking, but time him out. No, I'm just joking. Nobody fucking talks about my food like that. We thought, what will it take to get somebody timed out? Me! Anyways, no, seriously, the top is topping. It's buttered. It's butter. And then the bottom is just beautiful. And I will share the recipe. It is very, very moist. This cake is like delicious. And the reason it's called coffee cake is because you eat it when you drink coffee. Not that it's coffee flavored. Although I think that that is a myth that parents perpetuated. As when I was a kid, coffee cake, they were like, oh, you're not going to like it. It's coffee cake. It's coffee cake. Bitch, that's cake. Okay? Emphasis on the coffee, less into the cake. Should be flipped around. Ridiculous. It's pure cake. There's not even coffee in it. It's just cake to eat with coffee. There's 2 cups of sugar in it. So, come on now.
Does that mean that if you got, I forgot his name, this child, that you would have to drag him along to appointments or back and forth, or what?
It'll be I'll be able to take him with me. Because the appointments, they do home visits as well. So where the nurses come home and they can visit her here.
Would you be going to appointments for this child too, if you were
Yes,
available for them?
Yes, ma'am.
Now your schedule is gonna allow all that?
Yes, ma'am. As long as I let them know at least, a couple of days in advance, or just give them the reason why, then they understand. Because today I was supposed to work, and I told them due to court I was going to be on a virtual call, so I was asking to stay home today, and they said yes, that's fine.
I guess a digital Whataburger can't be mad at digital court, can they? Considering they're running an entirely digital Whataburger. Hi, Carol. Carol, look at my coffee cake quickly that I'm gloating about being beautiful, and I just posted the recipe for. In the chat, no less. In the chat!
Given that you've told me you have autism and that your son has autism, have you noticed anything when he's with you, or have you had to?
I mean, when he's with me, it kind of I think he kind of gets a little relief, because the whole time,
What?
like a relief, like he kind of feels like, he's feeling a little better, because when me and him, we play the whole 6 hours. The moment I pick him up and then we go, the only thing we do on the visitations, I do pick him up to get some McDonald's, and then we go straight to my mother's house, which is Angela Mercer. And that's the only thing we do. We don't go out and about. We just kind of stay home at her house for the 6 hours, because the drive just the Lockhart, it is almost an hour. So there's no point of being able to pick him up and take him all the way back to my apartment and then drive all the way back to drop him off. So I'm trying to, I try to keep him close to his mother as possible, just for the visits, until something can change.
The autism itself, what have you noticed on your child?
The autism, so basically, I mean, he's fine, but when he does get upset, like when I tell him no, or if he doesn't want a certain type of food, and I try to give it to him, he kind of he runs, throws himself out the door, and then falls on the floor. And then he starts crying, and then he sits up, and then you have to walk up to him slowly and just be like, it's okay, breathe. And then he'll walk up to you and just give you a hug and then say, I'm sorry. And then he'll go back and sitting on the couch.
So it's more emotional, and I guess that's how he handles things. Just trying
Yeah,
to.
when he gets really upset or if he's just being told no, he kind of like gets really emotional. And whenever he does get it done being upset, he'll walk up to me and he'll just he'll give me a kiss and he'll wrap his arms around me and just hug me for a couple of seconds, and then he'll turn around and sit right on the floor in front of me.
What about, have you noticed things with his speech, or is it
When he does talk to
developed?
me, he'll say, so when he's watching a movie or if he's playing on his Amazon iPad, um, whenever they're talking, he will repeat like the character's voice. Like he'll say what they're saying. He'll say like a sentence and then he'll go back to saying like nonverbal words. And it's just like that continuously. Like if he's watching a movie, he'll know some of the scenes of the movie, like especially for Toy Story. There's like a certain scene that Woody says and he'll repeat it like a full sentence and then he'll go back to nonverbal.
Have you had any other kind of behavior problems that you've had to deal with other than the getting up and running and
So I did. So I stayed 2 weeks, a week and a half ago. We went to go visit my little nephew in the hospital, and I did have AJ that weekend. Um, we were visiting my little nephew, and we were coming out of from the elevator, and I told him it's time to go home. It's time to go see mommy. And as I was telling him that, he started running away. Like he tried to run to hide behind a little cushion couch they had at the hospital. And I was like, it's time to go back to mommy. He kind of like, started throwing his little tantrum and he started hiding behind the chairs and he started like throwing himself over the chair. And as I was trying to like pick him up, he kept trying to like throw himself back. And then as prior walking him to the car, I was trying to push the stroller and hold him in my arms. And when I was holding him, he started kicking me. And he kicked somewhere where he wasn't supposed to. And I did sit down and talk to him in the car. I was like, you can't be doing that. You got to, it's okay. It is okay, but it's not okay to be kicking people like that. You got to understand, AJ. And like I said, he hugged me and he gave me a kiss and he did say, "Oh, sorry."
he's never not calmed down, or have
Oh,
it taken long?
he's always calmed down. It just takes like a couple minutes for him to understand what you're saying you're sorry, it's okay, and then he'll finally adjust to it and he'll just be back on his iPad or he'll start messing with his toys in his hands because he fidgeted his toy. He'll grab his toy and he'll just go back and forth on his palm in the car in his car seat and just goes back and
What's the longest it's taken for him to calm down?
forth. Probably that longer than like 5 minutes. He was just on the floor crying, and then I had to walk away for a minute, and then he finally stopped on his own.
Was that the kind of stuff you used to do, or do you recall?
Yeah, yes, man. I was major. I would always just fall. Apparently, I was told I would fall on the floor, and like I would just drop myself on my head, which is why I have like this bump on the back of my head. It makes my head just kind of shaped weird. I was told that I would always just drop on the floor, throw my head back, and keep hitting my head on the floor, and just running at myself from my walls, and that's why my wrists and my knees were always bad.
He hasn't done that, cut himself, or hit that hard to where he's hurt himself?
I know I've seen him done it one time where he did do it. He got upset and he full force ran to the wall and like put his palms on the door. And as he took a step back, he looked at his arms and he started rubbing them. And I could just tell he had hurt himself.
It doesn't scare you, or does it think you can control that or handle that?
No, ma'am.
It doesn't scare you, no, but you
No,
can.
ma'am. I can handle it. Yes, ma'am.
Now, you're not really asking for primary custody like when he's in school or like for
This
till
is
he's
just
18?
yeah. I'm just asking for what I asked for until August, and then once August hits, I can go back to the I forgot to say the word for it.
Standard.
Don't worry about it.
Standard. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So why were you gone for 2 years? I haven't figured that one out.
So basically when me and Miss Brandon separated, I wasn't really fully gone. I was still living in the same town. I was still visiting. Like every night, I would go over, take him a bath, put him to sleep, and then me and Miss Brandon would go our separate ways. But mainly it was because me and Miss Brandon just couldn't come to agreement. I mean, I kind of felt at the time that I was working and I was the only one working, and I am working. She never. I mean, she trying to tell me that we talked about before having AJ, that we had a conversation about that she would be a stay-at-home mom and that I would have to be the one working, which I never agreed to. I kind of figured once AJ hit a certain age, she would have gotten, started working as well. And it continuously did not, she didn't want to continuously find a job or anything. And then it came to where I was waking up at 7:30 in the morning with AJ, and she would stay asleep at least until 11. And the moment she would wake up, and she would attend to him for like a good, like an hour. And then for the rest of the day, it was makeup. She had this closet that had a makeup room. And the whole day, the rest of the day, she was just in there while I was sitting in the living room with AJ.
I guess you weren't together very long if the child's on just.
We worked together for 5 years, but
Right.
we were together in high school, which was in like 2018, 2019. So it was really just like, it was a high school thing continuously going on. But, now it kind of made me realize as we were getting a little bit older and more farther into the relationship and having kids, the connection wasn't there. And, just she wasn't willing to, meet me halfway with, working wise or just trying to get out of, maybe trying to get out of losing. So we just could never come to an agreement. So I decided to take my step back, and I did leave the house first before officially like separating with Miss Brandon. It took me like a week to finally get everything.
It took him a week to get everything, Bill. You're late. But guess what? You're in luck. We're doing a doubled show tonight. This is around the time we might end, an hour or so, but we gotta power through to get the hearing and the ruling in one. I'm not one of those people that makes videos that you have to come back and watch again. Mostly because I just don't make videos. I do that all the time with live streams, though. Caveat.
Out of the house. And then as I left, I was moving in with my friend. I lived with him for, I think, a month or 2 months. And then after 2 months, I started, I met into my girlfriend now, Jasmine, and I started talking to her. And after, I say, a month of talking to her, a month and a half, I was kicked out of that friend's house. We were talking just as friends at first. And then, it came to a point where we did, communicate, and then she started understanding my situation with AJ, and that's pretty much why me and Miss Brandon fully separated, because we couldn't just come to an agreement anymore, and we couldn't see eye to eye. And
How old was Brandon, or you called him AJ, didn't you? How old was AJ
yes.
when y'all separated?
He was, I would say, a year and a half.
Did you ever stay alone with him while y'all were together?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Did you ever have AJ alone when y'all were together? Like
No,
she
ma'am.
went around errands and done stuff. You never were left alone with the child?
No, man, she was always there, like, with me, standing there with me, or, if we did something, we had to leave together.
So even to go to the grocery store or to visit a relative, you
Yes,
never.
man. So like when I would try to go visit my grandparents, like the ones I try to mention for the visitation, yeah, she would just, tag along and be with me, happy to be with me.
So with your 6-month-old now, are you left alone with him?
She's my daughter. Yes. So I am with my daughter. Yes, because we do alternate. Me and my girlfriend now, we alternate work. So I work morning shift. She works afternoon. I work from 7 to 3:30. She works from 4 to 10:30. So from when I get home, we just switch, and then I'm with my daughter from this time to 10, and then every day, Monday through Friday, we alternate because we do only work Monday through Friday, and then weekends we do have off.
So you're home alone with the baby and you feed the baby, diaper the baby, bathe
Yes,
the
ma'am.
baby, do all those things with the baby?
And we do have baby cams out through the house. So like if she need to check up on me or on the baby, we do have that.
Okay, and nobody's ever accused you or made phone calls to police or Child Protective Services for your care of the baby?
No, ma'am.
Do you have any kind of criminal history at all? Any arrest of any kind, jail of any kind?
So I was arrested in December due to harassment, but I haven't been charged for it.
And who were you alleged to have harassed?
Me and Miss Brandon. Me and Miss Brandon got into an altercation. I called her 17 times, and I guess that's counted as harassment. I called her 17 times in like two hours, and it was due because that whole day I didn't hear any kind of information or contact from AJ, and I was just trying to find out what was going on. And me calling the whole day, it was based as harassment. And once somebody did answer the phone for the last time, it was the Luling Police Department, and the Luling Police Department was trying to explain to me what was going on. And they didn't really was at first they weren't really trying to explain to me what was going on. At the moment, I was upset, and because I was just trying to find out what was going on, because the police officer answered the phone and said, "Miss Brandon." And the moment, I just had a bad feeling the moment the cop answered, so I was just obviously upset. So as the officer was trying to explain to me what was going on, I told the officer I would just drive down there to Luling, and it did take me about 45 minutes to get there, and this was all close to hitting around midnight. I got to Lockhart and Luling around 11:30, and I was arrested around 12:35 at that midnight.
And how long were you in jail?
Just for until 1 o'clock the 1 o'clock after lunch the next day.
And you haven't had to face the charges of any kind?
No, man, I haven't been charged for anything yet. I call once a week to get an update about the court case or an upcoming charge, and it's saying it's still being under review. So no, man.
But nobody's accusing you of putting
No,
hands on anybody, hurting somebody physically or choking, bruising, hitting?
no, man.
You know that, well, I don't know what happened, but that would no longer be appropriate at all, ever.
Yes, ma'am.
17 calls in a day, okay. That's the only thing you've gotten in trouble for?
Yes, ma'am. I never got in trouble for anything prior to that.
Now I can ask Ms. Brandon herself, but do you know any of anything in her background, either with Child Protective Services or with authorities, police, or anybody else? Has she been in trouble with?
No, ma'am, not that I know of.
Okay.
But I'm sorry. So there was a time, I don't remember the date, but there was a time where I was at the hospital and Miss Brandon was at home with AJ, and I'm not too sure that it was at around 8:30 at night. Miss Brandon had AJ in the home, and her sister Leah Brandon came to the apartment, running inside her apartment, and she turned off all the lights and locked the doors. And Leah Brandon, her boyfriend at the time, was trying to find her, and he decided to go to Miss Brandon's house, and he broke Miss Brandon's window. He broke Miss Brandon's front door, and as I was at the hospital at the time was happening, and the moment I got out of the hospital, I was actually on my way to check on Miss Brandon and AJ, and the guy had taken off, and then the police department had showed up, and he was trying to break in. As he was trying to get inside, they were all locked into the bathroom and they were closing the door. And, I was a bit worried. So this is why, reasons like this is what I was be asking for.
Except that she had nothing to do with it, Ms. Brandon, and it wasn't.
Does anybody else want to break her finger when she's doing that? I find that so fucking annoying. Like, don't do that. Hi, Brooklyn. Hi, Brooklyn.
Even any relationship of hers protecting her sister?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Ms. Teague, do you have any follow-up questions for Mr. Palacios?
No, not for Mr. Palacios.
Ms. Brandon, while Mr. Palacios is testifying now, now's your right of cross-examination. Do you have any questions you want to ask him? And they have to be questions. You can't argue with him. You can't make statements. You can't reply. That'll be in another moment. But right now, do you have questions for him? And if I need to help you, isn't it true that that helps you ask questions? Or you don't, just tell me.
A bill. Bill throwing me a $5 bill. Thank you so much. You've taken my breath away. Seriously, amazing. My one-time $5 goal was reached. Yes. See, I think YouTube Daddy should just give us a button that we can press. I guess I have a button that I've made which goes do 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 do. I love it. I love it. Can't get enough of it.
No, I don't have no questions, just replies to.
Okay, that's fair.
Adam, I was just thinking of you because I said earlier, where does this gentleman work? It's a Texas institution and it's Whataburger. And I was like, damn it, where's Adam? And Cellulite Yoga Pants to answer that. But y'all were both conspicuously MIA for a few moments, which is fine. Donald. Donald, you do math about as good as I do. But even I can't make that work. But I appreciate the toonie too. Woo! Thank you, Donald.
Mr. Palacios, do you have any questions for Miss Brandon? Questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then I'm gonna go ahead and let you reply before we call in your witnesses. Miss Brandon, you wanna reply?
To reiterate on taking AJ to doctor's appointments, I can take AJ to every single doctor.
Oh my god, the rumors are swirling about Cellulite Yoga Pants and Adam, and then Donald comes through with 22 bones! Amazing, Donald. Amazing. We've just hit our $22 goal spontaneously because of your donation. Woo! That's amazing. Seriously, thank you so much. I love that. Hold on. Oh, it just says super chat. There's no like specialty YouTube Daddy explaining it to me like I'm 5 with the stickers. I love it when he does that. It's like pair dancing. Thank you. Thank you. Anyways, he works at a digital Whataburger, by the way, guys. Digital Whataburger, which means there's people, but you're not allowed to talk to them. That's what I'm getting. There's people at the digital Whataburger, but they are not for you to talk to. No, no, no. They are to make the burgers deliciousness, to hand it to presumably a robot to provide it to you digitally. Or is this the type of Whataburger where they just take pictures of it and send you pictures like that eBay scam back in the day? When you used to find a listing for something and you buy it, and then they would send you a fucking printed picture of whatever you bought, and you felt like an idiot. But technically it was it. I'm guessing they give you the food, but you know, you never know. Thanks again, Donald.
Doctor's appointment, and I have done. Will continue to do so. As far as me working and us not me working in the past, I tried to work. I worked from home. I did have a work from home job. I was at work from home job for I think a year or so, and then I got laid off. And then before he had left, Angel was week from week, new job every week. So, which is how things got bad, because I wanted him to have a steady job before I can get another job to work with his schedule. There was a lot of things I wanted to say. I didn't take notes.
She literally told you to take notes, dumbass.
As far as AJ leaving, being away from me and temper tantrums, they have started and have escalated since having visitations with Dad, and they've gotten worse. I've had one after first visitation. Whenever he came home, it was a 20-minute throwing himself on the ground, crying tantrum for 20 minutes after first visitation. And they've gotten shorter since visitations have happened, which is why I'm saying they've gotten better in due time because, like I said, 20 minutes the first time, and now I've gotten it down to when he's home on Sunday night and he's home for the weekend. I've gotten the tantrum down to like 5 minutes. Before, like I said, it was 20 minutes. Um,
Ain't nothing wrong with OnlyFans. They ask for your tax
as far as
details, by
AJ's
the way,
environment,
on OnlyFans. They don't let you sign up unless you give them your tax deets. Just so you know. They fucking, I think it's a 1099? Is that the contract one? I don't know. I get an exemption. I get a Canadian version. But anyways, they don't let you continue without that. Or do that without that. So even if she was doing it, it's legal. It's not illegal. She'd be much better off saying, yeah, I'm an independent contractor online, this, that, the other. But I'm going to tell ya, he would probably know about it. It would be pretty hard to sneak that whole thing. But, I don't know.
AJ is always he's in the house. Yes, he has his. I'm in his bedroom. His bedroom very colorful. I have toys everywhere. He loves his toys. We're not always inside the home. We do go outside. We do go in the pool outside. There is a park in an apartment complex. We do go walking. I do go to visit my mom every now and then. Where I do go see my sister every now and then. I do have a couple friends who live here in the apartment complex that we go and visit as well. So AJ's not ever holed up in the house like Angel had claimed before. I think that was the main touch points I wanted to talk about.
Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I realize I am
let's
wrong.
call the witness.
Of course she could do it secretly. It's been a while since I've been in a relationship where you don't share things like that. But I know that's unique and sort of weird to a lot of people. No more song. Okay.
And I don't know what order, or if you want to rest and let them call, or which one goes first, or do you have a position, Ms. T?
I don't, but I do have just two more questions for Miss Brandon, if that's all right,
Okay.
before we call the witnesses.
Absolutely.
Okay. Miss Brandon, so Mr. Palacios testified to his stepmom, Mrs. Stella, being a potential person to supervise visitations. Is that all right with you?
I'm actually not very comfortable with me personally comfortable with her. Being around her, she wasn't. I've never really gotten, I guess, along with her since the breakup.
Tell me again who this is. Is this the stepmom?
This is Angel's stepmom, and I was trying.
Oh yeah. And guess what happened? My computer failed up and I need to fucking move something to get the rest of it. Hold on.
Not use somebody else's vehicle and put the miles on her vehicle.
When do you think your car,
It will be ready by August. I'm just trying to make babysit and make money to be able to fix the last few pieces that are left.
all right, nothing further, Judge. The state rests.
Ms. Brandon,
Yes,
were you
ma'am.
aware that Mr. Palacios has been diagnosed with autism in your relationship with him?
I actually had a conversation with his mother and asked if Angel was diagnosed with anything as a child, and she said no, he was not diagnosed with autism, that he was only diagnosed with ADHD by a doctor. He was never diagnosed with any autism ever.
And so what you described as behavior wouldn't be part of maybe a spectrum or a spectrum that you know
I
that
would
now that you've
I
had
would say
stages?
part of a spectrum, yes, but not diagnosed to claim the what's the term? The to claim autism. I don't know what the term is.
But if it's on the spectrum, he has some aspects of it and you don't dispute that.
So some of them, but not too many.
You're not a doctor, are you? You can't.
No, and I'm not a doctor neither. So, but I do see some things that AJ and Angel do have in common, yes, but other things I don't see. I see in common with other autistic kids that I have done research and watched videos and then asked questions with therapists and stuff like that.
And would you think that would, because whatever he has, whether it's the diagnosis or whether it's part of the spectrum, I don't think you're disputing that. Do you think that would that make him a better parent or a worse parent in your eyes? To handle AJ on his own?
I don't think it makes neither, to be honest.
You don't
Because
think you
I
recognize some of the things that AJ's going through and help calm him down because he remembers what happened?
Well, yeah, because
Mhm.
I kind of understand too where AJ's coming from too as well. Like I put myself in AJ's shoes as much as possible. I try to walk around and pretend like I'm AJ, trying to see the world through his.
Literally, like, I'm sorry, I know I'm joking, but um, can you imagine her trying to fit on her little kid, the kid's shoes? Can you imagine just walking around in some kid's shoes trying to pretend to be an autistic kid? Like, that's just not how it works, ma'am.
His eyes and understand through him. I don't really I don't try to be any type of way that isn't very understanding whenever it comes to his diagnosis and being around him. I do any and everything I can to understand why he's feeling the way that he is and to understand why he's having that emotion. And I try to help him understand the emotion, like throwing a tantrum. I help him breathe in, breathe out, how to calm himself down, or saying I'm sorry and giving you a hug. That's one of the things that I've taught him whenever he's doing something and you say I'm sorry, you give mom a hug, give a kiss. I've instilled different little things that he's picking up on and I've seen him progress a lot.
So do you think the child's in any, well, what happened to Mr. Palacios? I just lost him. Did he happen to go to a break room? I don't know if he was messing with accidentally with the buttons on his computer.
I don't know. I thought his hands were to the side.
Yeah, I think he may have been on his phone, so his battery may have died.
Yeah, looking in the break room just in case.
Yeah, I plugged in my.
Well, I don't think he left on purpose or walked away purposefully, so I can't continue without him, but let's see if he comes right back.
I guess this
That
is
usually
when
happens where they figure.
Get used to
Oh,
it,
they
really.
did.
And
He came right back.
Ready
Look
up.
at this. I was in the shower when this was being.
Mr.
I'm sorry.
Palacios,
I'm sorry
what
about that.
happened?
My phone had died the moment they were speaking.
We suspected that. I stopped talking about your case and trying to figure out where you went and waited for you to come back. So nothing happened while you were gone. We've been on the record the whole time. Okay, I was getting ready to ask Ms. Brandon a question, and one is, the main one is, do you think the child's in any kind of actual danger in Mr. Palacios' care without supervision?
no, I just wanted supervision for AJ's health, so that way he can get used to it, really. And to have somebody he knows, that's why I'm saying somebody with him that knows AJ, to have somebody with him as he's getting to know dad. Because I know talking to Angela, talking to Angela, how they don't really do anything. Like she tries to stay back because she wants them to grow that relationship. And if she has to do something, whatever, then she's there, which is what I want for AJ. To so that way I know AJ is well taken care of. And even though I know he's well taken care of with that, regardless, whatever. But I'm just know for his health wise and being that he's autistic and this is all new, and I'm just trying to ease into this new schedule, this new routine that he has. Because changing routines has been hard.
I asked you, and maybe you answered it, or maybe I need to be more direct. Do you think the child's in danger with Mr. Palacios?
No.
Okay. And you said that even with the visits, even if they weren't all of them that happened, or the temporary order, that the child's behavior has gotten better since he's been back with you after a visit, not
Yeah,
worse.
it's taking time though. It's taking a little
Of
time.
course it does. If you didn't
Yeah.
know him, now he's getting to know him and getting
Yeah.
used to him.
Yeah,
And
this
same with an autistic child, it'd be a little harder. Yeah, I get that. But I'm saying, what harm would come to the child if one of your people was not there supervising?
I don't know if there would be a harm. I just don't want to push too fast for AJ. Because being that in the time where me and Angel weren't together and weren't talking, come December time, he didn't really have a relationship with him. So this was trying to ease into it, and yes, it's working. It's working. It's getting there. Um, I just want to see like maybe a 1 minute tantrum and get him to calm down. Like I just want him to be able to calm him down more. It'd be easier come time he comes home.
Well, if you could do that or I could do that, we'd be miracle workers and we'd be in that business, wouldn't we? You
Yes.
can control a child's behavior
Yeah.
or limit it to a minute. That'd be great. wouldn't it?
Yeah. We're just working on it.
Correct.
That's all we can do.
How do you feel about Mr. Palacios' request, if maybe not now, maybe in the summer, maybe some whenever, where the child's with you for a whole week and him a whole week, to maybe allow that to happen even better, so that he has no tantrums when he leaves?
Um, that's kind of like the same thing of what I was saying with the summertime, come summertime, the 15 days, and then
Only 2 weeks in a row, two
Yeah.
weeks in a row.
that's kind of like what I was saying.
You'd
Uh,
rather have that than a week and then a week on and a week off, 2 weeks in a row.
That was during the summertime. For the summertime is what I had asked for that to be to happen. Where he's
Summer, not that long.
Every time I'm listening to this, I always think, "Oh, I'm not going to be able to tell when they slow down." And then they slow down and I'm like, "Oh, it's so obvious when they've slowed down." Don't worry, Paisley, you'll know.
Long. It's June, July, and only what, maybe 2 weeks in August. Kids go back to school pretty early these days. So that's all you would want for him, the 15 days twice in the
yeah,
summer.
just separated. Have it separated. So that way 15 days, yes. So that way he gets his full 30
And
days.
how are we gonna go from supervised for how many hours was that in the daytime to 2 weeks? You don't think that's a bigger bump
Well,
up?
maybe you're right. Maybe 1 week.
I don't know what I'm not right yet. I haven't made
I
any
don't know.
decisions. I'm trying to figure it out and asking you to help me. Why would having supervision up until you let them go for 2 weeks be better than maybe even doing something different and a lot more gradual? If you can answer it, fine. If you can't, you can't. I still have to make the ultimate decision here, but I'm trying to get your opinion on everything. Anything else you want to say on the, and you spend most of your time responding to his complaints about you, but this isn't about you. He's not even asking for permanent custody. He's just asking for more time now, so that he's even conceded that. I'm trying to figure out what's best for the child, and how to get there. And if you can respond to that, I'll let you. If not, we'll move on, because I assume you still want to call your witnesses, or is it necessary to call your witnesses at this time? Let me ask you, Ms. Brendan, what do you think your witness, Crystal Rios, is going to tell me that would help your case?
Speak on character because I felt like in the beginning
About your character, or what character?
on my character, because I felt like my character was being like talked down on. I don't know the right word.
Okay. Because you thought it
When
was a full-blown custody fight and he was gonna trash you so
yeah,
he could get custody of you. That's what you brought a witness for, just to stand up for you?
yes, because she did tell me how there was our son does have bruises and his chipped teeth and stuff like that. So I had my mom, so she's been there like at doctor's appointments. I call immediately and tell them, and I send him a text after, AJ settled and we're in the car, and tell him after dentist appointments, doctor appointments, whenever I can.
Yeah, all
AJ
that stuff you said when y'all were together?
Yeah, no, I'm talking about now.
The chipped teeth is now, and the
he's
bruises are now?
Yes, he was talking about that now. Because he has cavities in his forefront
Okay.
teeth. So his teeth chipped one day whenever he was running and jumped on a beanbag, and he busted his lip. No, that's not whenever he chipped his tooth. It was already chipped, but he busted his lip that time. But his teeth chipped because of cavities.
Okay. But that your witness is more to tell me that you're a good mom and that you shouldn't lose custody,
Mhm.
more than to talk about Mr. Palacios or his care of the child.
And she does have some intake on him as well, because we did live with her for a little bit as well.
How is she related to you, or is she related to you?
She is my mom.
Oh, I'm sorry. Crystal is your mother? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot that part. I'm just, and then the other one is his stepmom. Okay, Mr. Palacios, your witness, Estela Palacios, tell me again,
Estela Palacios, she's my stepmother.
your stepmom, and what would she tell me that you think you brought her here for?
Mainly just just trying to get her I guess to understand, like, there's a lot of people right now that are willing to help her, willing to help AJ, because that's mainly what we're here for is AJ. She's a teacher. She understands how to, take care of kids like him. She can teach, she can be able to help both of us, not just, in a bad way, or, there's a few things that Stella could help her teach AJ, since she has him all the time right now, and there's stuff that she can teach me to prepare when I do get him, and that's why I mainly asked for Stella to be here.
You know?
Okay.
Spoiler
You
alert, they
think
don't
she could add
testify.
anything to how you care for the child, or how?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me let you call. Well, actually, are you gonna question them for me, or are you gonna let them question them themselves for themselves? Ms. Teague, how do you want to handle the witness?
I don't have any questions for the witnesses as of right now. So if they just want to call their own witnesses and ask questions, I think we could do it that way.
I actually don't think I need them right now, but if you want to call them, I'll let you call them. But they're your witnesses. You have to ask the questions. You have to wait for their answers and make them relevant questions, and questions about, I'm not looking, Miss Brandon, for good stuff on you. Nobody's taking custody away from you. We don't need to spend time on that. I know you think your character has been impugned, but I'm not worried about that. I'm more concerned about dad's time with the kid. And so if she can address any questions of that, I'd be happy to let you call her. So you want to have Miss Crystal Rios as your witness, Miss Brandon, and ask her questions?
No, it's okay.
You're gonna pass on that?
Yes.
Okay, this might make it a shorter deal, but Mr. Palacios, I don't want your witness to take too long. I probably heard more story here that would help me than anybody else. But you want to call your witness at this time or not?
No, ma'am. It'll be okay.
Okay, well, that made it easier. State have any other witnesses or evidence to present?
No, Judge.
Then if Miss Brandon, Mr. Palacios have waived their right to call the witnesses they brought. Let me start with you, Miss Brandon. Just briefly tell me on the contested issue of dads that you want supervision, and you've already told me why. You don't have to be real detailed, but can you make a little summary of a couple of sentences of why Mr. Palacios' visits should be supervised. Let me do that. Because I think everything else is not in contest, right, Ms. T?
I am
Correct,
asking
Judge.
for supervised visitation per AJ's health, being that AJ is still trying to get used to dad. And I'm only asking for supervised visitations up until school starts, and then we can transition into standard visitation. And if
Okay.
summertime, to split up into 2.
Thank you. And now this is about you and your possession till the school starts. So Mr. Palacios, what do you want to tell me briefly? I heard all your testimony. You don't have to repeat it. Just a closing summary.
Yes, ma'am. Really, what I'm just trying to ask for is I'm just trying to spend a lot more time with them before he goes to school in August. So, which is why I was asking to have the 1 week on, 1 week off, because that gives both of us a good advantage of certain a good amount of days for each other, just so we can get him to start. So like I said, so I can get him to understand him a lot more better, and so she has her time with him, and I have my own time with him. So he can start getting comfortable with both of us again.
Okay, and Ms. Teague, I'll let you have the final words on everything else. I didn't really hear it. I assume it's not contested. But if you'll tell me for the purposes of the order, so I'll know what I'm looking for when I sign it, what the rest of the order is supposed to look like that was not at issue today.
Of course. So we're just asking to finalize the temp orders, and that the temp orders set joint managing conservatorship with a geographic restriction to Caldwell and contiguous. We are requesting that APCLOS still be in place as set by the temp order, that everything else as far as visitation will leave up to the court. For child support, we'll confirm from the temp at gross of $2,015, a net of $1,693.35, with child support set at $296 starting March 1st, 2025. Mom to continue carrying the government medical insurance, and dad to reimburse at $91 a month starting March 1st, 2025. We're requesting that the retro judgment stay the same at $4,336 with a monthly payback of $75 starting March 1st, 2025.
So the as of
We'll,
is the as of the court date. What was the as of date for the retro judgment? The court date
let
on the
me-
temporary order is usually what you do the day of court.
Yes, I believe so, but let me double check.
Because you're gonna have to put in the
It
order, might
was-
as well figure it out now.
Yeah, it's as of February 6th, 2025. So the day that we had the temp orders. We did the
Okay,
temp order.
thank you. There's 75 a month payable on that, okay?
Yes, Judge. We're requesting the non-disclosure stay in place, and then we're asking that court costs be assessed.
What was the non-disclosure? Just
Yes, it was that both parties were requesting not to disclose their information.
and that was agreed to in the temporary order, and you want that to continue a mutual non-disclosure?
Yes, Judge. And both parties initialed it in the temp order, so yes, it was agreed.
Did you discuss it today?
I did not discuss it today. I did ask both parties if they were okay with everything in the order except for the visitation, so I'm assuming that they are still okay with it.
I'm not gonna assume anything on that, especially on that. Can you ask them briefly about that since I don't have any? And tell me one more thing. Did I hear the case last time it was contested? Or was it an
Let me
agreement
see.
that didn't bypass me?
It looks like it was an agreed order last
Okay.
time.
Some part of me thinks I did see them and I'm remembering stuff, part of it doesn't remember at all. So that's why I'm
Okay.
asking. I see
remember
too many
too,
cases here.
Judge.
Okay,
Get your votes
Ms.
in.
Teague, ask briefly on the non-disclosure if we still need to do that or not.
Yes, okay. I'm gonna ask Miss Brandon first. Miss Brandon, in the prior temp orders, there was a finding of non-disclosure where you're not required to disclose your home address, phone number, and email address. Do you have any concerns of imminent harm or harassment if Mr. Palacios knows that information?
No, he already has all that.
Okay. Now, would you be concerned if you moved and got a new address or a new phone number with him having that information?
No.
No, you're not? Okay. So you're okay with having your address disclosed in the order as well as your email address and phone number?
Yeah, he already has it anyways, I thought.
Okay. All right, nothing further from Miss Brandon. I'll go ahead and call Mr. Palacios. So same thing for you, Mr. Palacios. Your information was not in the prior order. Do you have any fear of harassment or imminent harm if mom knows your home address, phone number, and email address?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so you are okay with having that information disclosed in the order?
No
Yes, ma'am.
non-disclosure. Done. Quick, go.
Okay. Nothing further, Judge?
That just tells me that you guys are making the effort to move along and you do better. And if you felt like you needed it then, you don't need it now, I think you have progressed. And that's why I wanted to hear those answers
Yes, ma'am.
today, not from last time. And Mr. Palacios, do you remember that you all reached an agreement on your own and you didn't come into the courtroom for me to decide the temporary order?
Wait, I'm sorry, what was that?
Did I hear the case like I'm hearing it now? Did I hear it last time and I decided some of these things, or you all agreed to it and you just signed the order without coming through the courtroom to see me for answers on some of these questions?
Yeah, I think we just came to an agreement on the
Mhm.
first one, and then this will be our first time being in front of a judge. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's why I just want to double check that. Ms. Brandon, is that what happened? Is that what you remember what happened?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that. Then you finished your closing, I think, already. Okay. Ms. T.
Yeah, based off of their testimony just now that the state's okay with disclosing all the information in the order.
Yeah, so no non-disclosure, that's the easy one. That'll be deleted and now it'll all be in the order. You continued obligation. Now, if you guys run into trouble, there's other authorities you can race to. It's this non-disclosure is not the one that ultimately protects you. So I'm happy that you all can divulge that and you already know it and no problems have happened. So no non-disclosure. On all the other things, I'm not going to repeat them. I will approve everything except the visitation, which is a contest here today, and I'll rule on that. And I think I have everything, so I won't repeat it. On cost, given what I've heard with a newborn and trying to get along, trying to keep this, I'm gonna get cost. And it doesn't affect Miss Brandon, it's Mr. Palacios. You don't have to pay costs, pay your child support, pay your medical support, and get started on that, and your pay, since you all agreed to that. Okay, on the visitation, this is what I think should happen, and this will be my order. However, if you all need me to repeat all this stuff about appealing me, I can do that, or I could just ask the state to put a document at the end of the order that gives you those rights if you think you want you need to appeal.
Okay, so Casey Carey, you've arrived just in time for us to find out the verdict of this case. It's at the tip of her tongue. And what did we vote? Will the visits be supervised? Remember, Dad was asking for summer custody. And Mom was saying, supervise him, supervise him. So we have 56% of you that say, no, not at all. Nobody's supervising these visits. The second option, we had 18% say yes, and they should be supervising. 18% of you said, adopt that kid out. Get new parents. And then finally, 6% of you said, I don't know. I'm just here. Woo! MB, that's right. 2.5 thousand subs, but it's so close I don't want to talk about it because if anybody unsubs, it'll be ruined. But you're just in time to hear the verdict.
But on the issue of possession, no, it's not going to change with a custody label over the next several months and then custody back. You've conceded that issue, Mr. Palacios. So joint managing conservator with you all having the same rights and duties, obligations, but Dad, you having visitation versus primary custody. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to change out your visitation. You know, I've been listening carefully. I've been doing this a long time, and I don't believe that the child's in actual danger with Mr. Palacios, that the child needs to spend more time with him and get better at it, and both of them, not just dad with child, but child with dad. The only way that's going to happen if we do it. So I'm going to stop the supervision. However, am I going to do the 1 week off and 1 week on right now? No, I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do is and you told me that Fridays to Sundays work best for you right now, Mr. Palacios, to pick up the child and drop the child back off? So I'm just going to allow that at this time on the first, third, and fifth Fridays at 6 p.m. to Sundays at 6 p.m. Now there was a limited dispute about the visitation exchange. Remind me where it was in the order. What was said in the order, Ms. T?
It was Longer Park, which I believe is closer to Miss Brandon in Luling, Texas.
Okay. Would you consider it all the place he said that was more midway point or not, Miss Brandon?
Yes, but until I can get my vehicle to
Oh,
make
until
it
you get
myself
not till,
over there.
but until then you could meet him at Longer Park, so it's closer to you. That's what you're saying?
Yes, if I have my mom is 2 blocks away from me, so it's easier for me to just get her car and go. And then also, if I don't have a ride, I can easily just walk to the park to be able to drop off AJ.
Oh, is
If I,
that close? It's walking distance?
yeah, it's walking distance for me if I don't have a ride to be able to take him to visitation because he will go to visitation, he won't miss.
Okay.
But
And just so I know real quick, Miss Brandon, the relationship that you had with Mr. Palacios was in Caldwell County, is that what
yes,
and he's the one that moved to Austin and now moving to San Marcos?
yes, yes.
Okay, this isn't gonna be permanent, Mr. Palacios, but for the interim, I'm gonna keep it at that park, whatever it was, and I don't need the address, but I'm gonna keep the exchanges at that, for right now at the park.
Yes, ma'am.
Just repeat that in there for both the Friday pickups and the Sunday drop-offs. And what I intend to do, because summer is coming and mom already completed summertime 2 weeks at a time, and I'm not sure that's the right thing to do, so I don't think I'm gonna do that. But let's do visits. We're already into the second week, so this order would be effective starting next week with, that would be Friday, May 16th. Put that in the order effective Friday, May 16th. And double check me that that is the third Friday of the month. It is,
Let me look, Judge.
because there was a
It is.
first.
There's 3 paychecks
Right.
and 3 weekends in May, I think. It's the third. There's definitely 5 Fridays. Anyways, thank fuck because one of them was a bust.
Yes, the 16th is the third Friday.
And then that'll continue first, third, and fifth. So you actually get the end of the month on the 30th. Just so you all don't get confused, because people get confused all the time. The fifth weekend of the month starts with a Friday. There is a fifth Friday, so you do get that, but it goes into June. So it's and then you get the first of week June, so you get the June 6th. So you get that 2 weekends in a row because of the way the calendar falls with first, third, and fifth. And Miss Brandon, you got that too, so that y'all are not confused and think you're doing every other week. It's
Okay.
not first, third, and fifth.
Okay.
So look at that. If you have questions, ask the AG or mark your calendar. Just it's literal first, third, and fifth.
Yeah.
Friday. And then the Sunday after following, that's when you return them. Okay, and I wanted to do this for a little bit, but then you don't know when the school starts, Head Start starts, Miss Brandon, which day exactly?
No, ma'am, I don't know which day exactly.
It's late August, mid-August, you don't have.
I think it's mid-August. I haven't looked up
Okay,
the start date. I haven't looked up the start date. I just know in August, I'm still trying to get AJ's evaluation for school too.
okay, then let me see. He could have 1, 2, at least 3 visits in the next several weeks, in the next month or so, because of the way the calendar falls. If I do alternating weeks and not 2 weeks or what have you, would you all like Sundays to be the exchanged date, or would you like a different day, Mr. Palacios?
Sunday would be fine.
And you, Miss Brandon?
Yeah, Sunday's fine.
Okay, then I'm gonna do what I just said, the weekends until Sunday, June 15th. Then at that point, it becomes alternating weekly on every Sunday. Do you want to meet at 12 noon, at 6 p.m., or some other time, Mr. Palacios?
12 and noon is fine. The 6 can do the same times too.
Would that work for you, Miss Brandon, on a Sunday? Do you have any church things or other duties or issues?
12 is fine. I mean, there is church.
O'clock, 3 o'clock, something like that? Something between 12 and 6? Would that work better for you, Miss Brandon? Do you have church issues?
Yes, that would. So I can take him to church on Sundays that we are missing. Yes, we could be back from around 3, at 3.
So you can make it to the park or the exchange place at 3.
Yes.
And I know it's not 12 noon, but is that a problem for you, Mr. Palacios, 3 p.m.? I don't want to wait till 6 p.m. because that's later and closer to.
That's totally fine.
Okay. Sundays at 3 p.m., the alternating weekly possession starting June 15th. And that'll go until school starts. And I don't know when that day is, but y'all keep, so he kind of makes up some visits. He gets a whole week at a time. The child gets used to it to dad for the weekends for like a month or month and a half, and then starts weekly visits. Then you go to the standard schedule once school starts. And I can't pick a day because I don't know what the day is. So it's just going to be generic. But you tell him when you find out when school starts, and then the Sunday, whoever has a child or doesn't have a child, y'all figure that out to make sure the child's back to where he needs to be for when school starts, and standard possession order will kick in, and he'll be 4 by then, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I think that'll work. Now, I can change with the standard possession, the exchanges will then be, and is that what you want? A parking lot at HEB? There's not other, that's pretty easy, or that's a really big parking lot?
Then out in the open for public people too. So yeah, it's right there in the open.
In which town again?
For the courthouse, since HEB is always packed.
When school starts, and I guess that would be Fridays. I guess courthouses may or may not be open because a lot of times I think if you're talking about the Lockhart main courthouse or
The parking lot is always.
Are you talking about the main courthouse that's not really regular court anymore now, or the one that's further down the highway, the Justice Center?
Yeah, it's the one. It's the one right next to the Little Caesars. It's the main. It's where the old Walmart used to be. I don't really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. You're talking about that one too, Ms.
Yes.
Brandon?
Since it's open and there's always parking, it'd be closer to park.
Okay, but remember that when standard visit starts at 6 p.m. on Fridays, I think that place is going to be closed at 5 o'clock and everybody shuts down and goes home. They won't be open when standard visits kick in, Fridays at 6 o'clock.
I mean, if we could either do HEB or Walmart. I mean, either way, they're both open.
Probably Walmart, because Walmart's parking lot is more open than HEB. You can never park.
You want to be in the parking lot? You want to meet in the garden center? Or do they have a McDonald's inside or something like that? Or
We can be in the parking lot at the Walmart.
y'all won't miss each other?
No, ma'am.
Okay, well, most people can find each other, but and I know it's not a big one like in Austin. However, don't just assume you're not there and then everybody's on the other side. That's what cell phones are for. That's what y'all supposed to communicate about. And if you have a specific place and keep it, that works great. But the order will just say exchanges at the HEB parking lot once the standard visits start into effect.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and no non-disclosure. I think I got it. Did you get it, Ms. Brandon? Yes,
Yes.
I saw your lips move and your voice. Mr. Palacios, you understood it? Do you have any questions?
Of course. Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Teague, anything you need for the order?
Actually, Miss Teague, I give no fucks that you cost the judge another 7 minutes, but I will not listen to them bicker about which Walmart. It doesn't matter. Just know that that was the order. I think it was extremely fair. I think they handled it well. I think I have hope for this child. I do. Sometimes you just get a bad feeling. I don't have a bad feeling. I do have some feelings, but not a bad one. I've set this up to redirect over to Colin's channel tonight. I think he's live, so go say hi. I'm gonna make some fried rice for my dinner. and have myself a nice evening. I hope you guys do the same. We'll be back at it again tomorrow, don't you worry. But it's going to be a little bit of a later show because we're doing our Mother's Day celebration in my family tomorrow afternoon. So, it'll be probably like 6 my time, so like 9 Eastern. I don't know why I always think America. It's Eastern, not America. Anyways, also, yeah, thanks for experiencing bangs with me, for banging me. Thank you for banging me tonight. Helping me bang myself, really. I really appreciate you guys helping me bang myself. It was great. Quite the moment to walk in at, Mikey. Everybody helped bang me tonight. It was excellent. We had a really great time, and now I'm saying goodbye because I have so many things to do tonight. Anyways, do me a favor. Remember that I love you, and I'm proud of you, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye.
Always down and ready to ride.